Hi, it's Stacy with So Steady, and I am here with two amazing educators today. We have got some amazing class opportunities for you that we're going to be sharing. The first that we're going to kick off the day with is Donnell's going to be giving you a teaser for her Circle Society Club, which is kicking off its first preview class today. So she's going to do a cute little circle bag that you guys get to kind of learn a little bit more about, and that class will take place in February. So this is more of a kind of a preview for her. And then we've got an awesome class by Pam Barner. And now the class that we're doing is actually behind me. We're doing a paper piece log cabin. And so she's going to be walking you through kind of, what would you call it, Pam? Like a streamlined version of that class where we're not doing as much as we were going to do on the actual university class. And we'll kind of tell you how
Right.
you can.
Yeah, it's just a trimmed down version of what you're going to get on the university.
Perfect. So anyone that is a club member, you have access to this full class already. It's on the university. You can watch it at any time. But today, what's great is you can watch live. You can ask lots of questions. Pam's going to be here to answer those questions as well. So I'm going to go ahead and post some links to give you a little bit more information. But if you do want to go ahead and purchase either one of these, we are going to have options, hopefully before the live is over today, to be able to log in and purchase either the Circle Society, or if you're not already a club member, you can actually buy into the club right now on our So City website. But if you did want to go ahead and just get the paper piecer class, then there might be an option for you later today, or if not in the next couple of days, to just get the paper piecing class that by Pam. So all of that being said, I think we should kick this off, Donnell. Are you ready to take it away?
I am. I am.
Okay. Well, we'll let you take it away and then we'll come in with Pam's class when you're done.
All right. So I am going to be teaching a class. It's February 18th is when the class is. I believe it's at like 6 p.m. Eastern time. So it's later in the day so that some of you that couldn't make it into any others. But just so you know, you don't have to watch it when it's live. You can actually watch it later. So if you sign up for the class, it's your class. You can watch it anytime you want. Now, you're probably wondering why I have Valentine's Day here. Well, the class is after Valentine's Day. It's on February 18th. But I'm going to be making one that's for Valentine's Day. And I'm going to make one that's for Easter. And I'm going to make one that's for St. Patrick's Day. So you can do anything that you want. So all I'm going to show you today is two circles. Yep, just about the size of a pizza pan, but no, we don't draw around a pizza pan. We use the circles and straights tool. That's why the club or the class series is called the Circle Society. So this is one piece of the tool, and then our mat is the other piece of the tool, and it comes in a little package just like this. So I know many of you already have this. And if you don't, it's easy to get. That's really the only staple requirement that we have in each of the classes because we are using the circles and straights tool. So for the class that I'm going to be doing on February 18th, it's called Cute Little Bag. And the reason I called it that is because it is a cute little bag. Now, no, I'm not showing it to you today. I'm showing you what we're going to need and telling you the materials that you're going to need to get together. But we are going to be making for the bag two circles. Now, the bag I'm making is going to be a pretty good size one. So I made a 17-inch circle. So this is a 17-inch circle, same fabric, front and back, as is this. Now, I could make both of them just like this, so the bag would be that way. But I decided I wanted mine to be two fabrics. So what do you need for the class? The circles and straights tool, of course. And you will need if you're making the size bag I am, you're going to need 3/4 of a yard of two different fabrics. If you're going to be making the bag out of the same fabric, you're going to use 1.5 yards. Okay, So just to give you some ideas, that's what I'm going to be making my bag out of. That's going to be my sample there. And this is one that I'm going to be making for St. Patrick's Day. Don't you love it? Circles. And I'm going to be making a circle. So I've got lots of circles. And I love these two fabrics. Okay. And then for Easter, I'm going to make a bag out of these two fabrics. So I have got 3/4 of a yard of each of these, and likewise on the other. So you will need those, and you'll need a thread that complements your fabric. I'm not even going to say it has to match, but complements your fabric. And basically, you'll need with that, I'm going to say a 1/2 yard of a fusible, a lightweight fusible. I like to use Pellon 987F. It's fusible on one side. That's what's going to give our little basket or bag the body that it needs. So once again, your circles and straights tool, 3/4 of a yard of two fabrics, and 1/2 yard of a fusible fleece. Pellon 987 works great. And then your threads to match that. And really, that's all you need to make these baskets. Now, I'm going to encourage you to make the larger one first, and then you can size it down. Because in this project, as with many projects, making the bigger one first is easier than making the smaller one. So I hope you'll join me. Sign in to purchase the class for February the 18th. And I will see you there live on the 18th. And if that doesn't work out, you can watch it later. And back to you, Pam, for another fun project.
I'm here. Stacy, are you there? Hello. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to show today. This is Pam. And we're going to do my paper pieced heart, which is behind Stacy. And it's not behind me, but I'm going to show you something else later. And in this particular video, you're not going to see the very beginning where I cut all the fabric pieces out and talk about paper piecing and things like that. We're going to jump right into sewing and starting to sew, and then it kind of jumps ahead, and you'll see how to do some paper piecing. But you get more information in the class that you either buy on the university outright or you get free through the club. So I think it's already up on the club, but it's not where you can buy it outright. So I am here if you have any questions about paper piecing or about this particular project. It's called a paper piece log cabin heart because it does have a center, and then you take logs and you build and build and build and you make your heart out of it. So
Excellent. Well, thank you so much
yay.
for giving them a little detail there.
You're
Sorry,
welcome.
we had a call come in and nobody was answering, so I had to jump over and answer the calls. I do that too here, guys. We're a small company, so we try to keep up with everything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get your log cabin block class queued up now here, Pam.
Okay.
And so you gave them the details. If you're already a club member, then we have already signed you up for this class. It's part of your log cabin class series. So when you log into that, it'll be one of the classes that's in there. Your paperwork's in there. You also have the pattern in your box. If you're not a box member, then you're going to want to be. No, this is just the first of many classes that we're hosting this quarter that are all going to be kind of tied into that box and all of the fun stuff that we're doing. So, all right. So, we will go ahead and get this video queued up. I'm going to let.
In this video, we are going to
I'm going to let Pam take it away now. But just as a reminder, you can watch the full class because this is like 20 minutes shorter, right, Pam? Than the
No,
full.
it's more than that. It's probably at least a good half an hour shorter than the regular
Okay.
class.
Because the regular class, you actually show them how to cut all the fabric out ahead of time, in addition to giving
Yeah,
a
we
little bit
go
more
over
detail.
fabric requirements and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So we're gonna show you kind of the shortened version today, and again, you can get that full class on the university. But ask lots of questions as we do that, and then if you have any questions once you're on the university, you can actually ask Pam directly questions there as well, and she'll be able to answer them as she gets those messages coming through. So. All right, we'll let you go ahead and take it away, and we'll look forward to answering any questions once this video is done. Thanks, guys.
Stitch out our paper pieced heart. We are ready to start sewing. I have my needle in. I'm actually using pink thread so that you can see where the stitches are going. And I'm going to set my stitch length at 2.0. I like to have a shorter stitch length when paper piecing because it tears the paper off a little bit easier. So I have my strips for the logs of my cabin. I have my bottom pieces, which are 24 and 23. I have my strip, which is 6. And then I have 3 triangles, which are going to be 1, 21, and 22. The reason that this is considered a log cabin is even though it's not square, we're starting with the center and then we're building like a log cabin is built. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is take our small piece, make sure that we have the top of the fabric, and we're going to use our table here, and we're going to put this triangle right on top of the triangle that's down here. I want to give myself plenty of room all the way around it, and then I'm just going to take a dab of glue and I'm going to put a dab of glue here on the paper, and this should hold it. As I just need it to hold for one seam. Let's see, there we go. Now I'm going to flip it over. If you're going to pin it, this is the side you need to pin it from. So I don't need to pin this because I've used the glue. Now we're going to stitch in order. We want to attach 2 to 1, we want to attach 3 next, and then 4 next, and then 5, all numerically. So 2 can be any of these logs that I have here. So we're just going to kind of drop them on the table so that they're a mess, and then just randomly we're going to pick logs. Kind of shuffle this up a little bit, and then I'm going to set that aside. Pick a log. This is my log. It is number 2. I'm going to turn this over. Now I only do this for the first one. This is 2 right here. Let's see if you can come in here a little bit tighter and see this. This is, I can see this is number 2. So I'm going to stitch on the line that's between 1 and 2. I want my fabrics right sides together. So this fabric is right side up. The number 1 is right side up. Every other piece of fabric is going to be right side down. Okay? I'm going to stick it down. There's more than enough room here. When I fold this, I have more than enough fabric. So I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to stitch on the line between 1 and 2. Now, just when you're doing regular piecing, your stitches always go a 1/4 inch beyond, right? Because they go into the seam allowance, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. We want to stitch beyond this line on both sides. You don't want to start right here and end right there. You'll end up with gaps. So I'm going to start out a couple of stitches. I don't have to back stitch. It was about 3 stitches. I'm stitching right on the line. 1, 2, 3. Went 3 stitches beyond, and then I can cut my thread. So I just want you to see where I stitched. Okay? Now I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to use my wooden press, and I'm just going to press the seam. And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to fold my paper over, and I'm going to fold the paper right on the stitching. Then I'm going to take my add a 1/4. You can see that. I'm going to take my add a 1/4 and I'm going to trim off any excess fabric. Doesn't seem to be a lot of excess fabric on this one, which is great. There we go. Now I'm going to fold this, and then I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to do the same thing on 3. I'm going to flip my paper over. Now if this gets unruly here, you can take your glue stick and just kind of hold down the edges just a little bit if you want to. That helps over there. And then I'm going to grab another piece of fabric. I'm going to put it right sides together. Let's see, there's my stitch line. So I'm going maybe a couple of stitches from the white. Make sure I've covered everything. Now these smaller pieces, we're going to have more excess than when we get larger pieces. Again, I'm stitching between 1 and 3. I'm going to start a couple stitches out, and then I'm going to come a couple stitches beyond. So, and I just cut my threads again. I hit the wrong button on my machine. Okay. Couple stitches beyond. And a couple stitches beyond. I just want to show you again what that looks like. Here is a couple stitches beyond. Oh, I just did this one. A couple stitches beyond and a couple stitches beyond. Okay. Flip it over and press. All right. Now, next up, we just did 3. Now you can also, if you want to, when I've done this, is I've ticked these off as I've gone, so I know where I'm at. But I know that we're going to do number 4. So the first thing I want to do is fold the fabric between 2 and 4. I'm going to fold on that line. Now these stitches are kind of in my way, so I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to rip the paper very gently out of those stitches. So now I can fold the paper on that line between 2 and 4. Okay? I lay this down, and then I'm going to trim this to a 1/4 inch. Some people trim after every part that they add. I like to trim before. So now I have a place to place my fabric, right? My next fabric is going to go right on there. So, or no, I did 4. Yeah, I need to do 4. That's over here. Okay. I'm going to grab another piece of fabric. I'm going to lay it down. Now I can lay it right against where this fabric was cut. Turn it over. And stitch. Again, I'm going to stitch right on the line, a couple stitches beyond. And a couple stitches beyond on the other side. I'm going to get a pencil here. Let's see if this will work. So we've done 3, we've done 2, and we just added 4. So we can cross that off. That way we won't get lost. And now I come along and press this. And now I'm going to take the paper again, pull out these couple of stitches here. I think that's enough. And then I can fold right on that line between 3 and 5. Then I can take my 1/4 inch, trim this off. We're going to keep all of this fabric so you can see how much we've wasted. Again, it's not a lot. Pick another piece of fabric. Right sides down. And now I'm going to stitch between 3 and 5. Couple stitches before, right on the line. Couple stitches after. That was 5. Now we're going to add 6. So 6 is the white strip up here on the top. I'm going to fold this down. I have a couple of stitch lines that I need to pull the paper from. I just put my fingers on the stitches and pull the paper up. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to fold on this line. I'm not pulling the stitches out, I'm just pulling them out of the paper. We're going to cut all of this off. We should move this a little bit better so you can see better when I'm cutting. So I may have a problem here. That was folded that way. Let's see. Boy, that was close. I'm going to be okay. Make sure that everything is folded down before you cut, because that piece should have been off this direction up here, and it was like that. It wasn't folded over. So now I'm going to add my big white strip. This is where the light comes in really handy. I'm going to put it up against here, but I want to make sure that I'm all the way across on the 6, which goes from here to here. Oh, and I also have to make sure that the fabric is right sides down. There we go. Flip it over, stitch on the line. Now this is the one thing that you want to check. You want to check that this completely covers the paper to the outer line. Remember the 6.5 inch mark on your pattern. So you want that white piece of fabric to at least cover this line right here. And it does. We have more than enough, so we're good. We're going to see what happens over here when we add on piece 7. So now we just added 6. And now we're going to add on 7. Oh, 8 is the one that's the problem. So we're going to fold between 4 and 7, pulling the paper through the stitches a little bit so that we can fold on that line. Make sure we're folded on the line. Sometimes you have to use the ruler here up against your paper to get your fold line. There we go. Put this over here on our cutting mat. Use our add a quarter. Again, if you don't have an add a quarter ruler, just use the 1/4 inch marking on whatever ruler you're using. If you like paper piecing after doing this project and you're going to do a lot of it, I highly recommend an add a quarter. Okay, so we did 6, now we're doing 7. We're back to block fabrics for a while. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not putting the same fabric up against the same fabric as best as I can. Hold that and flip your whole piece over. If you're not comfortable doing that and you want to pin them, by all means, hold it up here, make sure your fabric is coming across the line, and then you can pin it from this side. With pieces this small, I found I didn't need to pin. There are some paper piece patterns that have larger pieces that you may feel more comfortable pinning or even gluing. This is the one I'm nervous about. Let's see what happens. I think we're going to be okay. We'll fold on that 5 line between 5 and 8. And let's cross off our 7 and our 6. And now we're adding 8. Use that one. Oop. Put this along here, and And, oh yay, I don't have an opening here in my fabric. I was really worried about that. Okay, now we're going to add on piece 9, and we're going to keep doing this. Fold on the line here, and there. That's not correct. Check that. Yep, that's correct. I like this method much better than the one where you cut after sewing. Now, the very first piece you do have to cut after you sew. Now we're going to add the next piece onto here. And now when I do this, when I add my next piece, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm adding 9. I just want to make sure that I cover the ends down here. I have more than enough room on this other side so that when I flip it over, I filled in this entire piece. What I don't want to do is I don't want to stop my fabric here. I don't want to stop my fabric right here on the other side. That's where piece 7 ended. I needed to go farther. So fold 8 down. Put down 9, flip, and sew. When I first started doing paper piecing, I wrote down all the steps. Stitch, press. So here's stitch. You could say mark if you wanted to. Next step is press. And then fold. So the next one is 10, so between 10 and 8. Pull the paper from these stitches here without ripping the stitches. There we go. I'm folding on line 10, between 10 and 8, so fold is the next part. If you come over here with your light box, you can see it a little bit better. And then trim. Sew, press, fold, trim. And then the next one is sew. So this is going to be 10. Pick a piece of fabric. My hands are a little dry, and so I'm having a hard time grabbing that fabric. So yeah, 10's over here. Flip, place, flip, and sew. Couple stitches beyond. In the beginning, So a couple stitches before. And then a couple stitches after. So I had all of those steps written down and taped to my sewing machine so that I didn't make a mistake. And I'm just going to show you where we're at so far and what it looks like on the back. Okay. And cross off 10 because we added 10. Next up is 11. So between 9 and 11, we're going to fold. And we have to take out a couple of, or pull the paper from a couple of those stitches. And then we can fold here, and there, and down there. And I think we have it. Yeah, there we go. Better off using the ruler sometimes, especially when the lines get longer. There we go. Trim this. And 11. Put that fabric there, that fabric there. Go back just a little bit so you can see. Place your fabric, flip, and sew. That little clicking noise you hear is the needle going through the paper. It could be that you need to change your needle, but more than likely it's just the click of the paper. There we go. Now, let's fold this, mark off 11. Oops, that's all right. 10, there we go. Put the ruler up there. Fold the paper up against the ruler. And then it should just go down and should crease right on that line. And then use this guy to trim. And now we're adding on 12. So let's put this one on. Remember, right sides together. Flip. And stitch. we go. And then we're going to add over here. Okay, you see how this, I want to show you this. I'm going to bring you in closer. This right here, this is the line we're sewing between 13 and 15. We need to go beyond the cut line and have our stitches go all the way in this seam allowance. You don't want to start a couple of stitches here. You want to go beyond the cut line. Okay, so we're going to start, kind of eyeball it from here. You could also take a pencil and you could draw a line with a ruler so that you had a straight line going that way to stitch on if you wanted to. But you want to make sure you go that far. You also want to make sure that when you fold your fabric, it's going to cover all that paper, which it does. Get this back on there. Fold it over. So, beyond the cut line. Something's caught. It's not moving. Oh. We're going to sew the other direction. I don't know what happened. It's like my machine wasn't going forward. Part that's going to be cut off, so, and go beyond the outer cut line. If you think about it, when you have a traditional block, the pieces are sewn through the seam allowance, and that's what we're doing here. Press this. Flip, couple of stitches, cross out 15. Okay, same thing on this. Between 14 and 16, we have to stitch all the way through the seam allowance on the outside edge of the block. Trim. Oops, let me widen this up so you can see. Sorry. There we go. Okay, we need one from here, which is this fabric, I think. We'll use this one. Flip it over. And past the seam allowance. when we're done, this is going to be trimmed, and you want to make sure. All right. Now, we're going to put on 21 and 22. So notice these little lines here. That's to help you line up your triangle so that it's centered, and you don't have to spend a lot of time figuring out if you're doing everything properly and you've got it laid out right. Because if you get this on here incorrectly, let's see. Okay. Let's say you get your fabric on and it's over here like this. When you sew it and you flip this, you're not going to cover the piece or the seam allowance. Okay? So, first step is cut, right? That's the first step. Little stubborn piece of fabric right there. There we go. All right. I'm going to put a little fold in my fabric. Just a little crease so that I can see it right in the half. Okay? That way when I line my fabric up, I put that crease where that dotted line is. And I can see that in my light box. Right like that. Perfect. And now when I sew it, it's going to fit perfectly. Again, remember to sew off the seam allowance. Right on the line. And off again. And now when I press this, it should cover, which it does. If I look at my light box, it goes all the way beyond the edge of my block, which is what I want. I don't know if you can see that. But that's what you want. And then on these corners, sometimes they're stubborn when the paper's still in there. So if I need the paper to stay in there, sometimes I just glue it, just so it stays down. All right. This is hard because you're trying to pull out a couple rows of stitches at the same time. And I think I got it. There we go. Only this has got to get folded over too. There we go. Again, another little triangle. Find the top, fold it in half, little crease. Using the light box, put the crease right on that dotted line. You can, if you want to, retrim these sections, but I don't think, well, yeah, maybe a little bit. No, it's hardly anything to trim here because we pre-trimmed. It's like nothing. It's probably not even worth it. That's the way I was originally taught to paper piece, was to trim after every seam. And again, I'm going to put a little glue stick on here to hold this down. Check and make sure that the fabric covers the block, which it does. Yay! That placement line is very helpful. Okay, now we have 23 to put on. There we go. Again, the bigger triangle, right sides together, line that up with that center line. Flip it, and so past the seam allowance and come down. And past the seam allowance. And this one, we have these stitches to get out of the paper. This is like something's wrong. Let's not mess that up. Make sure your fabrics are where they're supposed to be before you cut. Okay. Oh, it wasn't. Oh yeah, it's okay. It was. Sometimes I make myself nervous. And this is the last piece to go on. Again, right sides together, line up with that line, hold both ends, flip and sew. Okay, now we're going to turn it over and we're going to cut on this outer line. So 1/4 inch away from this edge here. And I have to stand up to do that, so I'm going to move the camera and then I'm going to go over there and we're going to cut. And for this I can use a larger rotary cutter if I want to. And I'm also going to use a clear ruler so I can see exactly what I'm doing. There we go. I'm cutting the paper and any excess fabric. And there you have your 6-inch paper pieced heart. The last thing we have left to do is to take out the paper. So I'm going to start on one of these corners and it just tears off very nice and neatly. Do it again.
Every 3 months.
I like to go from the outside to the inside. Doesn't matter. And so we had some. Take this one off first.
No.
Sometimes I use a bamboo stick just to get in there and
two payments in one.
make sure everything came out. And then
January
just
is.
go backwards. Oops.
That's why there is kind of fees, because we were shipping 1 month after.
How I
we started
stitched.
Waiting, making you wait 3 months to pay for it.
So take off 20.
Right.
Sometimes I can get under there with a like a bamboo stick. I fold right on the paper.
Yeah, it is part of
Any
the service.
perforated paper,
That
it
was
just
just to get all of the
falls
extras,
apart.
ruler and all the extra pieces that we were only using. Anything ordered through the end of December gets those extra things. The ones that are ordering now don't get the extras. Yeah. Right, and then
Okay, Pam told me I could fast forward ahead, so I did.
Oh, that's fine.
So I would press this one more
Ah,
time.
there you go.
yeah, that was
And there you have it.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's so great, Pam. Thank you so much for sharing. That's such a fun block. And you had your gorgeous project that you've been working on.
Oh,
So
that's right. Let
yeah,
me show you.
you might want to show that here in a minute. And then we have a little surprise from you. Donnell was able to finish her bag as well. So we're going to be able to show you all kinds of fun stuff here. This is going to give you all kinds of inspiration. Okay, so here's Pam's project. So Pam, tell us a little bit about this because I see a variety of different things going on here.
Right. I wanted to show what a heart would look like when it's actually sewn into something, because it's kind of hard to tell the sides of the heart, how it's going to look when it's sewn into something. But I didn't want to do all paper pieced hearts. I kind of wanted them to float a little bit. So I used applique. I actually cut these hearts in between the paper pieced hearts on my AccuQuilt Go Cutter. And then
Oh,
I
that's
just,
fun.
yeah, and I used Templey Fuse to fuse them to the background fabric, and then I did a blanket stitch to applique them down. So when you do that, just a little hint, put the Templey Fuse on first, don't remove the paper, then cut the shape that you want. That way the Templey Fuse goes all the way to the edge of your fabric.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Okay. Well,
so
just in case you're not aware, if you're a club member, we actually have some extra bonuses for you for this quarter. AccuQuilt is offering some sales as well as our partner discounts. So you can check out some of the dies they have. I bet you they've got some fun heart dies on sale right now. But that's over on the AccuQuilt site, and you can find that. Some of those details inside the catalog that you got in your box. So if you don't have it, we do have that catalog on our So Steady website as well. So you can check that out there and see what our partner discounts are. But that's so cute. I love it. All
thank
right.
you.
So that is Pam's paper piecing project. If you're a club member, your box will have the pattern in it. So you'll be ready to go. If not, then you can go ahead and sign up for that. Or Pam's paper piecing class will be available on the university very soon as well. So by the end of today, I promise, you can go to the university and you can search for that Pam's paper piecing cabin heart and be able to purchase that separate. So, but if you are in the club, then it's included in your log cabin class series, which we've already registered you for. Yay! So you'll be able to take advantage of that. All right, so Donnell has something that she's excited to share with us. Again, thank you so much for joining us today, Pam, and sharing this very, very Valentine fun project. And now we're head over to Donnell, and we're going to have her share with us what this Circle Society project is going to be. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And I was so excited once I finished it. I was like, oh, I hope Pam takes just long enough for me to finish this. So it worked out just perfect. So just to give you an idea, those were 17-inch squares or circles, my goodness. And the bag ends up being about 8 inches wide and about 8 inches tall. So that gives you an idea of why I said, let's start bigger. And if you want to go smaller, go smaller. And again, I'll have all this information to you guys, and they'll have it up so that you can get signed up. But as you can see, I took those 2 circles and turned them into a little bag. And you can see down there on the inside, you could use this if it was an Easter fabric. Obviously, you could use it as an Easter basket. If you're an office worker or whatever, you could set this on your desk for Valentine's Day and have candies in there. And obviously you can make it other sizes as you want, but super, super easy. That's all I can say. It was very, very easy, a lot of fun. And another idea that if you looked at this, you wouldn't say, oh, that's made with circles, but it is.
Oh,
So
I
that's
agree
what
completely, Donnell. That's so fun. I did just post another link to that as well. So if you are interested in signing up for the class series, that is on our So Steady University, and the link is right there, and it will take you on over to this full class. And then I think that the class itself should be on there soon, but this would be if you wanted to sign up for the full class series, which will take you through the February project, which is the one you saw today. And then we'll have another sneak peek happening on my birthday. How exciting is that?
awesome.
Uh, March 19th.
Yeah.
And then so on. So we've got all kinds of fun coming out for you. So we'll look forward to having you join us for that and be part of that Circle Society class. All you need is one of those amazing circles and straights tools, right, Donnell?
That's exactly right. I'll put it back here
All
if you
right.
haven't seen one. So
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm getting the information over to So Steady just as soon as we close out here, and join me. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. All right. Well, again, thank you all so much for joining us today. Pam, loved being
In
able
this
to
video, we are
uh,
going.
share your video. We thought we'd just put that up there again one more time. Um, I love that my background is your project.
I love it too. I'm jealous.
Uh,
That is so fun.
yeah, I know. Look what I
That's
made
so fun.
this giant log cabin paper piece to quilt behind me. All right. Well, thank you all again so much for joining us. Like I said, if you haven't already signed up for the club, we do have just a week and a half left for you to join the club and get all of these amazing things in your club box. Donnell's is going to be a little bit different. Her Circle Society class series is available on the university, and she's going to just have all kinds of circle fun with you. So definitely sign up for that. You're going to love all those classes and all the fun project Donnell has in store for you on that. And it is warm in my office. Thanks, guys. Someone just commented. I have this giant big coat, so I get really hot, and then I have to take the coat off, and then I put it back on. We've got a good heater in here. But yes, we're excited to have you sign up for all of our amazing classes and join us for this fun. So thank you all for joining us today, and we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be quilting the log cabin quilt with Mindy, and she's doing quilting in the hoop with our brand new log cabin embroidery designs that were inspired by DM Quilting's log cabin pattern. So super excited to share with you that class. That's another one that's part of our embroidery class series. So if you're part of that, you'll definitely want to join in, but it's also going to be live on your university bundle as well. So again, thank you guys for joining us today, and we'll look forward to having you join us again soon. Don't forget to sign up for those classes. Bye, everybody.